socialist market economy, and then the Th national congresses put forward equal enjoyment of national treatment. This is just a document. Ownership superstition has become the main obstacle to the transformation of national motivation, as it prevents the country from directly participating in the economy and competing for the interests of the people, and also provides opportunities for departmental interests to the representative functional departments of the national machinery, hindering the upgrading of the national version, the coexistence and common development of multiple forms of ownership is the economic foundation for achieving political power differentiation, and also the basis for effectively defining the power and responsibility of the state, society, and individuals. The awkwardness of the non-public articles has already proven the predicament of private capital. In view of this, the most committed step of the purification of national motivation came on the scene, which is the most controversial: judicial independence. It is precisely because of the above problems that the motivation of judicial independence is doubted. The biggest mistake is the understanding of the concept of the state. So far, the analysis in this paper shows that the state has gone beyond the scope of the class conflict violence machine and represents the general concept of all the people. In this case, judicial independence has become a means of balancing various functional departments within the state machine. Instead of being independent of the state machine, it threatens the operation of the state machine itself and brings endless internal strife, increases transaction costs, and reduces the efficiency of the state machine. So if a country breaks away from the superstition of ownership, it will not hinder the implementation of the principles of fairness and justice due to its own interests. It will also make mutual checks and balances within the state machinery, such as judicial independence, explosion inevitable on July 10th, and the state's motives will not be distorted and become the cause of conflicts of interest. This reform not the foundation of a harmonious society on the traditional financial system in the UK, and has also had a significant impact on the development of the global financial industry. No. As the financial explosion, the Big Bang quickly triggered a wave of global financial liberalization. During this period, the core content of the financial industry reform was the liberalization of the financial services industry, the elimination of brokers and traders, the regulation that the two functions of trading cannot be mutually exclusive, with brokers and exit agents serving simultaneously, and the restrictions on the membership of exchanges being relaxed. Cancel the minimum fixed commission limit for securities trading and implement the liberalization of securities trading agency fees. Remove the restriction on non-exchange members holding exchange member stocks, and all financial institutions can participate in securities trading ISUOS activities. Abolish various financial investment regulations, and banks began to provide comprehensive financial services, including securities business. In OMS of regulation, the Bank of England has transferred the regulatory function of the banking industry to the Financial Services Authority of the UK. The financial Big Bang in the UK completely destroyed the financial division of the UK and Commonwealth countries and promoted the integration of merchant bank business and stockbroking business, as well as the integration of commercial banks and investment banks. Commercial banks in the UK have successively acquired and merged securities brokers, gradually emerging a group of super financial institutions, covering various fields such as banking, securities, insurance, trusts, etc., becoming a versatile financial group similar to Germany. Just as the Thatcher Revolution triggered a wave of global market-oriented reforms, the City of London's finance exploded. The explosion triggered a global wave of financial liberalization. Japan Tokyo financial explosion. Japan's financial liberalization reform directly refers to the sample of the UK, which is called the Tokyo Financial Big Bang. This is short. The Hashimoto Cabinet of Japan was launched on July with the core of promoting financial liberalization by relaxing financial regulations. The main legal basis of the Tokyo financial explosion is the Foreign Exchange Control Law and the Bank of Japan Law. The main content is that Japan will relax foreign exchange trading restrictions, and the venues for foreign exchange trading are not limited to licensed banks. And even supermarkets can engage in currency exchange. Became popular in countries such as India, officially moving towards the government's control over currency flow, which became the mainstream opinion in academia, and most mathematicians were still advocating for free currency floating before this. At the same time, discussions about the financial explosion in China are also on the rise, with the mainstream view that China is at the center of the vortex and has a high probability of crisis. They are worried that China will be blown up and then destroyed. In fact, the current situation of China's finance is more aptly described as the financial explosion because it represents a long-awaited energy, and the process of ultimately entering the financial explosion can be controlled by the government. In the absence of a sound financial system in China, relevant departments will not easily loosen financial regulations. As a result, China's financial civilization will transition from the financial explosion to a controlled explosion. From the perspective of Chinese reality, industrial civilization and agricultural civilization are still ongoing, and information civilization is beginning to emerge. The financial industry, on the other hand, belongs to the model of strict national regulation and a conservative approach. At this moment, entering the financial civilization still requires several hurdles. The first is the effective grafting of financial civilization with industrial civilization, agricultural civilization, and information civilization. As China's economic development mainly depends on backward state-owned enterprises, the traditional economy civilization dominated by these state-owned enterprises is likely to be magnified in the financial civilization, and finally destroyed by the financial civilization. Once the country liberalized the private economy and the innovation vitality of the whole society, it is likely to enter a benign interaction state of the four civilizations. The second is the level of understanding of the game rules of financial civilization by relevant parties, and the degree of subversion of the wisdom of industrial civilization. For example, many experts believe that the phenomenon of nationwide stock trading is abnormal and a signal of the stock market reaching its peak, while officials from the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission believe that nationwide stock trading is a great thing due to our limited knowledge. It is difficult to grasp it clearly within a limited time frame, regardless of the purpose for which this statement is made. At least it indicates that the management still allows room for discussion on new phenomena, rather than blindly denying them. China's hybrid finance effectively balances tolerance and control, and may dominate the next wave of financial civilization. Firstly, price reform once again faces a fork in the market or administration. At that time, the marketization of consumer goods was radical. The one-step implementation led to severe inflation with CPI reaching %, and some major cities such as Beijing exceeding % in that price reform is not as simple as marketization. The shock therapy severely damaged economy of Russia is a clear proof. Today, if the price of resource goods is released at once, it is likely to repeat the price breakthrough of years. But price controls also distorts the market. For example, market coal plant power has made % of state-owned power enterprises lose money, and % of Shanxi power enterprises' capital chain may be broken or will lead to power shortage this summer. It can be seen that price marketization is still a major direction, but the market-oriented transformation from planned thinking cannot be achieved overnight, which often requires a process. Therefore, in the process of reform, it is necessary to adhere to the marketization of prices while maintaining social stability through administrative power. Undoubtedly, becoming the leader of left-ping the standard of right balance. Secondly, the direction of price reform has been determined, but the market-oriented approach faces a choice, which is to linearly follow the god painting 破窈窕, or non-linear feeling stones crossing the river. In the SU, under the advocacy of price liberalization both domestically and internationally, the world believed that long pain is better than short pain. In a shortage economy, the feasibility of directly connecting prices through linear deduction not only failed to achieve price reform, but also triggered a wave of panic buying and hoarding, which taught profound lessons. But this attempt precisely proves that Western medicine cannot cure all diseases, and the linear approach is not suitable for China's atypical, high complexity, and multi-drop national conditions. The reason why we were able to overcome the dilemma of consumer goods reform back then was still due to the dual-track system that can simultaneously balance history and development. This non-linear innovation is a dual-track system on an incremental basis, gradually rewriting the price mechanism through price liberalization in the production field. In fact, this integration under the shortage economy has been undergoing twists and pains until the economy shifted from shortage to surplus and it was only then that it was natural and normal to connect. From this it can be seen that the feasible path for resource price reform is still a dual-track system. But this dual-track system is not the same as in the previous market explosion and personality-splitting. Greenspan's memoir The Age of Turbulence came out at a delicate moment. The real estate bubble burst. The subprime crisis is spreading. The answers to irrational behaviors found in the book from the perspective of psychology and anthropology. While they are ultimately rooted in human nature, the tendency to turn from excitement to fear has not only become the best footnote to this crisis, but more importantly, it also inadvertently revealed that although Greenspan has been in charge of the Federal Reserve, which represents the authority of rationality, for years, his heart is full of fear for irrationality and powerlessness for foam. What a great split this is! In fact, when it comes to human personality, most people will believe in its innate and unchanging characteristics. But from agriculture, the evolution of the three-character classic from the well-known concept of human nature is inherently good at the beginning, similar in nature, but far apart in habits to the industrial civilization's concept of human nature is like jade, and both nature and emotions can be shaped undoubtedly. Y highlights the dynamic and malleable aspect of human nature. In other words, the production and lifestyle styles under different cultures play an extremely important role in shaping the character of people living in them. For example, in the agricultural economy, the production method of relying on the weather for food and the exchange method of physical objects such as gold and silver as general equivalents bring about a social civilization characterized by honest labor and self-restraint, accompanied by the mechanized production mode of the industrial economy, and the exchange method of currency, paper currency, as the general equivalent. There has been a great expansion of human subjectivity, distortion caused by a single working method, and diversification brought about by the symbolization of value standards. Human personality has also become rich and complex. With the accelerated evolution of civilization, the evolution of this personality that originally belonged to several generations is becoming increasingly concentrated, shrinking to a generation, especially in the short span of nearly half a century. Information civilization and financial civilization have successively arrived, and profound changes in production and lifestyle, as well as various new features, are all impacting people's original thinking habits and behavioral concepts, and even subtly changing people's personalities themselves. Firstly, a major characteristic of financial civilization is irrational prosperity. From the price-to-earnings ratio to the market dream ratio, which refers to don't focus on performance or value principles, just dream-like growth expectations. For example, the stock price of LMZ, which is mainly engaged in toothpaste, once soared to yuan, because its holding of about % shares of CITIC Securities gave people huge